a grave mistake in accidentally sending out the challenge of finding these YouTube videos of me, and now you both have found now the internet has found two different videos of me. One was a sketch that I did. The other was just I'm not gonna repost it, and if you want to experiment, you can. I'm not that embarrassed by it. But the other one is of me. Right, I'm like, one of the gifts I gave to my sister one year was allowing her to shave my head when I had like the big fro, and so like there's just a clip of me like fake crying after she did it. I don't know why that's on the internet, and again, I don't know how you found that stuff, but hey, kudos to you. This is why the internet is forever, and anytime you put something in the internet, you better make sure you want it out there. All right. Purple Yosh, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. Appreciate you. It's a little bit of spooky. It's only a matter of time now that you guys find the ones that I don't really want you to find. But like, it's nothing too bad. It's just, it's a little raunchy. John Johnson, thank you for the 14 months. Yeah. We're all dumb teens. All right. Trying to think about what we can do with this. Why don't we just continue to do Q&A here for the next 15 minutes until we wait for Dan Miller, and then we can get Thank you, Dan. I didn't write it, but a couple of my comedian friends did. I just acted in it. I don't even remember what my part was. I feel like I was a pretty straight man. Blood? Where? I don't think I'm bleeding anywhere. Oh, that's part of the sketch, isn't it? One of the puzzles pieces. That was a good 10 years ago. Thank you, Gary's. Where's Eric get all the college tape to watch on all the players?
Oh gosh, it varies. There used to be an old system that used to do stuff. Other like it used to be like there used to be stuff on YouTube. Used to be guys that would cut games up, and those were the easiest. It was just easy to watch that on YouTube. Now you can find guys that get film, cut it up, and then put it on like a Patreon type of thing.
Yeah.
Where or like a Substack type of thing, where you subscribe and then you get access to a plethora of different films.
Like a Google sheet.
Sometimes
full of links, private links.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
there's lots. There's a handful of different ways. And it's different. Like every year. Some days, like right now, I'm just watching games straight up. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to get film and watch stuff on anybody in particular right now. I'm just watching to watch. So that's about as in depth as I've gotten. So
Sativa Smoker, thank you for the 7 months subscribed on Twitch. Eric writes in his calligraphy style. That's his wife with a great handwriting, and she's in the education field, so makes sense. Is that blood? I'm trying, I need to go, do we, you know what? How about we add that video, the one that someone found of me in a sketch. I will play that on stream if it lands on it, and it's spin on the wheel of pain.
July 25th, 2016. That was our first interaction. I went all the way to the beginning.
Nice. What did you do before you joined the Beat? That's a fair question. I graduated with a psychology degree. When I got out of college, I volunteered at the Hope Center, which worked one-on-one with children with autism. in a classroomy one-on-one type situation. I eventually became a part-timer there. Then I moved to LA where I did one-on-one behavioral therapy with children with autism for about 5 years. Got burnt out on that. I worked at a dog daycare center for another 5 years. During that time is when I got promoted to the site runner here at Pride of Detroit. We weren't credentialed yet. So I was doing both things at the time, being a sports writer from afar and managing a dog daycare center. And then when we got credentialed in 2017 for the games, and Ryan and Alex were the one going to the games for us, I was still just running the site. And then I decided, no, I want to be doing this full time. And so I just decided in 2018 I'd move back to Detroit, make it my full-time job, even though it technically wasn't my full-time job. And so in 2018 is when I dropped all of the other side jobs I was doing. Oh, I didn't write number one Vikings fan yet. You're right. I'll do that right now. But that's kind of my professional journey to where I am now. What are you eating there? Oh, it's not backwards now.
Same thing I was eating earlier. The chicken and rice.
Oh, nice.
I'll tell you my story in just a second. I went back to the beginning of our DMs.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get there fast? It was taking me so long to do it.
Oh, I just kept hitting top. The first interaction was me DMing you because you followed me.
Oh.
Back.
Oh, shoot.
And then we interacted there. Then I sent you an unprompted message about for a personal reason. And then the next time after that we interacted.
Were you asking me for dating advice because I'm such a player now? That's part of my lore?
No, it was not it.
Okay.
The next time that happened, I was still at Fansided at the time, and there was a plagiarizing incident amongst at Fansided, and all these Fansided people were getting blamed and not being taken seriously. And so I was looking for other opportunities to work. And so I asked you if there was any openings at POD that I could maybe join you. And you said, I would highly consider bringing you on, but we're just not hiring at the moment. When an opportunity comes up, I'll make sure and contact you.
When is this? What year?
January 7th, 2017.
So I know when I immediately got the bump up to site runner in 2015, like I was just in over my head. And one of the last things Sean Ewell, who, if you don't know, created Pride of Detroit way back when, 20 years ago. There was this wave of hires, including some of the people that are still on the staff now, right before he left. And so I was like, oh my God, I don't know anybody who works here. And now I'm running the site. And I think there were like, when I became the site runner, there were a lot of people who reached out to me then. It's like, hey, can I, management change? Can I be a part of the new era? And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'll get back to you. And so I was kind of hoping that was the timeline there where I'd be like, oh yeah, I was in over my head, but I don't know what was going on in 2017. I think one thing that people should realize is that when I took over Pride of Detroit, the majority of contributors were pure volunteers. There was probably a handful of people who were getting paid, if that. Everyone on staff now is getting paid. That was something that was very important to me because a lot of people in this profession are getting taken advantage of. And even if it was something like $50 a month, $100 a month, it was very important to me to at least have like a symbolic, hey, I want to make sure that there's at least like some level of compensation that I think you're worth. And so I'm sure for some of those early years, it was just like, Eric, I know you love the platform of Pride of Detroit and just for your word to get out there, but like, I want to make sure I'm not taking advantage of you in any sort of way.
No, well, let me elaborate.
Sure. Am I wrong? Is that not what was happening?
No.
Okay.
Let me just elaborate. You said we're probably not going to hire anyone until March.
Mm-hmm.
I took a job at Lions Wire in February.
Okay.
So it didn't even get to the point that I even got to the next like step where the window opened.
So you rejected me. So what really happened?
Well, you didn't offer a job, and so I was like, but just think what could have happened in 2017.
Sure. I mean, listen, could be an entirely different trajectory on both of our lives had we made that connection there instead of what 4 years later, 2021, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 4 years later, it all comes back, but
yeah.
Like when that plagiarizing thing happened, I was looking. Yeah. I was like, I got to get out, right? Yeah. And so I didn't want to be there. But look, I mean, there was the level of respect, that I think we had.
Sure.
My next DM was to you was the very next DM that was in March, and it says, "This is very hush hush, and I was sworn to secrecy, but this came from Haoli Nada's agent." I said, "So we can't publish this, but this is what I heard," and then I told you some gossip.
Oh, now you're not going to even tell us what it was?
Is when we. I think it's
probably been I think the embargo has lifted.
All right, I'll tell you. Nada left Detroit not because of money, but because he didn't think his body would hold up under Patricia's practice schedule. Oh. Patricia notoriously works his players hard, and Nada believes that his days of being able to stay healthy under that level of practice wouldn't be possible. Plus, he wasn't offered any assurances of what type of role he would get there.
So it sounds on par with that regime.
Yeah, but so I got that info and then shared that info with you. But I mean, so this is back in like 2018, right? Like, so we're talking now. We're both credentialed at this point.
Yeah,
and we still haven't met in person at this point yet, but to get an idea of like where we were already sharing that level of trust before we even met and sat down next to each other in the same building. So there was that we had built a bond over what used to be a good platform.
Fair. Alex Nelson, they give the $50 donation. Says, always appreciate you guys doing this. You guys do great work all year long, and I always look forward to this stream. Me too, buddy. Thanks for being part of it. And thanks for the generous $50 donation as well. Can continue to answer questions and it doesn't have to be about our history. If we want to get into some Lions talk, we can do that. If you guys would rather ask some, inside baseball questions, more than happy to talk about that stuff as well. And then after Dan, we'll do a spin or two on the Wheel of Pain. Giveaways. We really got to pick up the giveaways. I got to be better about that. But we'll do some giveaways because we still have a dozen to go or so. And then Birkett at 9. And then, the rest of the way, the following 2.5 hours are all going to be trying to raise money, trying to get that number up as high as we possibly can. ! Donate. Maybe this is a good time to also reset in case you don't know what we're doing here. We're not just talking Lions football. We are trying to raise money for the University of Michigan Rogel Cancer Center. We had 2 great interviews earlier, one of a patient formerly at the University of Michigan Rogel Cancer Center and one of the doctors there. They talked about everything that they do there in terms of not just treatment, but there's also a wing of research. We got some great tips on, early prevention tips, what you should be asking your doctors, things like that. And all of your money, 100% of the money donated today will go to support those efforts. ! Donate if you want to be a part of it. You can also just scan the QR code there. Your donations can impact the stream with information on the top right on how to do that. Yeah, that's it. Do you ever want to watch a game like game or two like regular fans without the need to do analytics and stuff? Yeah. Yeah, to be completely honest, there are days when I'm just like, I would love to have the phone in my pocket, the computer by its side, and just sit down and watch a game and just be a fan again. And listen, like, I get to kind of do that during away games where I'm just like, I'm watching from home. I can pump my fist a little bit, but then I go back and kind of recap what's happening. But yeah, there is a little part of me that misses some of that stuff. Dan's waiting. So answer your question, swallow whatever is in your mouth. But Dan's already here because, again, he's one of those pros. 3 minutes early is on time. You good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me bring him aboard. Whoops. Oh, you're sideways.
Am I sideways?
You're
you guys sideways?
I think you're sideways.
That better?
That's better.
Yeah.
You guys were sideways. I think I was fine.
How's it going, Dan?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good. Where are you? I like
looks
this,
like
this
you,
background.
dude. Looks like you guys have been through it.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
I'm in my office at home. My wife and I had these things done.
Wow. Oh, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, so there was a guy at Fox 2 who was putting up a mural in the newsroom, and I'm like, "Can you come to my house and do that?" And yeah, sure. You got a checkbook? And I said, "Yeah, I do." So it's yeah, we got that done. It was we saw that at the draft.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's the line we want right there. So yeah, it was cool.
So damn, that must be pretty new then if it was inspired from the draft.
It was after the draft, yeah, just after the draft that he put that together. He grabbed a picture of a screenshot from downtown Detroit and what they did there, and then put that up. So yeah, it's cool.
Nice, dude. That's great. Well, let's get into some Lions talk here. Let's talk about Thursday night.
Let's do it. First of all, what's going on with you guys? Like you guys have been tattooed, waylaid.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So a $25 donation to our charity fund gets us to write whatever the person wants on our foreheads. I always like talk well about the Vikings because I respect them, and so like if it says Vikings #1 fan, which I'm not. Let's be clear. At one point, I don't even. Okay, this says Ziggy Ansah. I don't even remember what's written on some parts of my face. This was like a happy birthday to someone. A $400 donation is a crack of an egg on my head. So like my hair is currently like, if you see dandruffy thing, it's just like egg remnants. You can change my background with a $100 donation. I'm wearing a mozzarella stick shirt. This is how professional I am, Dan.
Listen, it's all for a good cause. There's no doubt about that. Dang, what could I put on your forehead? What's $250 buy me on your forehead?
Well, okay, so 250. I mean, you could theoretically do 10, I guess, things written on my face. A $250 donation also forces me to do a celebrity impression. If you want me to do that, I would not recommend that because I'm terrible at it.
That's a good one. That's a good one. What should we come up with? All right. Let's go. I'm going to take both. We'll go 250 and I'm going to go both. What do I need? I need let's go TDDL, touchdown Detroit Lions across your forehead.
Okay. Perfect.
And then we're going to go, God, who's the who's the celebrity? Who do we want?
You can think about it, and honestly,
I would say like Tom Cruise running, but I don't know that you could do that where you are right now.
Just it's all in the arms, right? You can think about it. We don't need to come up.
I'm
with
gonna think about it. We're gonna come up with something.
Yes, and I'm live until midnight tonight. So if it comes to you,
yeah.
you
And by the way,
send me a
guys,
text.
great cause. You guys are doing a great job. That's awesome stuff.
I appreciate
awesome stuff.
And we had a doctor that works there today on the stream. We had a patient, and the more I learn about it, the more I realize this has been the right choice for us as well. But yeah, let's get it. Let's talk some Lions ball. Let's talk Thursday night. Because I think first of all, I'm so glad they actually won that game, because I don't know what the stream would have been like if they had lost it. But I guess like where are you at with the team in terms of just like your overall thoughts about where they are, what chances they have in the playoffs? If they get there, is everything still on the table with this team, or like do they still need to improve a lot to make you believe that this team is capable of everything?
Yeah, I mean, let's say this. I'm with you that Thursday night was huge because, for selfish reasons, people will say to me all the time, and Jeremy, we may have talked about this before, like, how did you do the team when they were terrible? And it's it's not the games. It's everything during the week. It's having to sit down with players and talk to coaches and stuff like that when they are just, angry and facing questions that they don't necessarily have answers to. So, that victory, I think, buys us all, another week of good feeling out in Allen Park, which is great. And they just needed it. They just needed to play well. They just needed to come out and do that. And, I think going into that game, you said to yourself, yeah, Dallas is the hot team, but we know what the Lions are capable of if they go out and play the way that we've seen them play before. And that's exactly what they did. And they went out there and they delivered. And for the first time in 8 weeks, they had points off turnovers, which was huge. And it had been their bread and butter for so long. And the offense was scoring, and, defense did a nice job. So it was just, and Tom Kennedy, man, hats off to him, and special teams bringing some explosiveness. So it was great to see. And listen, I think everybody walked out of that Ford Field feeling great, and everybody watching on TV, listening on the radio felt great about it. So, I look at it, I think you need to go 3-1 the rest of the way, I think, to get in. I think that kind of feels like what you have to do. I don't think 10 gets it done. I think 11 does. The tough thing is, do we know mathematically, are we rooting for a Green Bay sweep? Are we rooting for a Chicago sweep? I feel like we're rooting for a Green Bay sweep because we can still handle Chicago on our own at the end of the season, at least have that opportunity to do it. But, Bears obviously have a really tough schedule the rest of the way. So it keeps you in the fight. And the Branch thing obviously is the buzzkill to the whole evening. Seeing BB go down like that, and just such a good dude and such a vital part of that team that hurts. And if anything gives me concern, it's just that, again, you're kind of running out of bodies at this point. And I don't know what the situation with Kirby is, and you don't have TA. You're obviously not going to have Brian Branch. And so, again, we're kind of back to this thing where you're running guys out there that might not necessarily be playing at this part of time. But I think we've learned if there's any coach that you want to do that with, it's Dan Campbell, because he's never going to let you believe that you can't get it done. And, he said something to me. He was getting really fired up one pregame a ways back, and it might have been before the Legion of Whom game against Tampa. And he just said to me, he goes, look, we tell these guys we're never going to ask them to do anything they can't do, and we're going to help them. And it was like, I just felt like I wanted to run out there at that point. It was just like so powerful in that moment. And it's just such the right approach. It's like, if you're a guy who has a little bit of doubt, he's saying to you, man, I'm only asking you to do what I know you can do. And all these other guys out there are going to help you. So look, it's not optimal what's going on with the roster right now. It's great to see the offense come around, because you might be getting into a point of the season where you're going to have to score some points to win some games if you're hurting on defense. And I think that's what happened last year when they went 15-2. That offense really kind of carried them through some tough games. So that's what makes me believe that they can get this done. Seeing a renewed pass rush, knowing that offense can get back on track. I just, I still believe there's a lot left out there for this team. Obviously, tough game this week coming up, and the road ahead, nothing's going to be easy. Going to Minnesota's not going to be easy. So, and Aaron Rodgers coming back into Ford Field's not going to be easy. So, we'll see what happens here. But that left all conversations open and all possibilities out there.
No doubt. Man, yeah.
Dan, when you watched that game, I was just curious. When you watched that game, did you ever feel like the line, like that game was ever in doubt, or did you feel like the Lions were pretty much in control of that Dallas game the whole time?
Yeah, I think there was a couple times in the second half when you felt like they had to answer Dallas. When they got within 7, when they got within 3, you felt like, okay, you need to answer them now. And they did. And there were moments in there where you felt like momentum might be shifting a little bit, and they needed to, come back and match that score, get 2 scores up again. So I never necessarily felt like it was slipping away. And it's interesting that you say that, because there were a couple times where I was sitting there thinking, okay, I think it was when they had a 3-point lead. Even if they fall behind, they're going to get the ball back and the offense is playing well. You can come back and win this game. I'm kind of thinking, 2 possessions ahead at that point. But, credit to them, they were able to answer Dallas's charge with a score of their own. And I think in some ways recently, that has been what has been missing, is that offensive consistency, where we see this team go on runs where they score 3 touchdowns in 3 possessions or 3 touchdowns in 4 possessions. And it was great to see that kind of come back in this game. And that's what I walked out of there feeling really good about as well, was just, boom, that offensive explosiveness was back. The consistency was back. And that's going to have to be there for this team the rest of the way.
Yeah, definitely good to see, especially with all the shakeups on the offensive line in that game, with, all the narratives about Dallas's defense looking a lot better in the past month.
Yeah.
And that, they have a defensive line that features like really 3 superstar talents. And for the Lions to come out of that pretty unscathed, outside of maybe the first quarter slow start, was certainly impressive.
Yeah, and I felt like it was second half before we even called Quentin Williams' name.
Right.
And obviously he's a terrific player, but that's just kind of credit to the guys up front doing the job that the Lions did. I mean, they really did do a nice job in that game, and they had to. I mean, look, Dallas felt like they had everything going their way going into that game. Their offense was explosive, number 1 in the league, and they were going up against the Lions secondary that was beat up. Just really the kind of effort that I think we've grown accustomed to seeing them when their back's against the wall or when they lose a game. They just don't stay down for long and they bounce back. So, credit to everybody. And like you said, having to shuffle some bodies in there and move Frazier and Cologne kind of back and forth, planned, unplanned, whatever it was, and just seeing them do that when there had been some doubt about that, certainly the week before, was big. And I'm sure they walked out of there feeling as good as we did going into next week.
I want to take some questions here from some of our live audience. I don't know if you knew this, but yesterday was the 4-year anniversary of the first win under the Dan Campbell era against the Vikings. I want to see if there's anything you remember about that game, your call that game, and then another question here from our live audience is just like, do you have a favorite Detroit Lions call? I'm sure that's something you're asked a lot, but is there something that pops to mind where you're just like, man, that was a fun moment?
Yeah, I do remember that game and just how incredible it was. And it was like, I remember that Steeler game when they tied and we didn't know what to do with it. It's like, what do you do with this? They didn't lose. Should we be happy? And it was like, but that moment and, just seeing them come through on a final play like that. And it was just, man, it was just like you could feel the weight off your shoulders that everybody had felt. And it was just so, it was incredible. And I have seen that replay a couple of times online that people have posted it. So it brought back great memories. And I think it was, Jeremy, you guys are both around these guys all the time and you understand how much they put into this. And even I go back to 0-16, those guys worked their tails off.
Yeah.
every single week, as hard as any team that was winning games. And when you're not winning, it's a miserable existence. And just to see those guys be able to smile and enjoy it and celebrate was a really cool moment and much needed for that organization and for Dan and for Jared and for Amon-Ra and everybody that under the sun. It was just, I just remember the feeling of a weight coming off the shoulders and just, again, those guys, you know, understanding that all their hard work had finally paid off in a game. And yeah, there's a long way to go and all the things you had to do after that. But yeah, just amazing. As far as calls, I would say there's several probably that come to mind. And one is Cliff Avril's pick six against the Chargers that locked up a playoff berth,
Yeah.
you know, 3 years after being 0-16. That was huge. Definitely Golden Tate overtime against Minnesota. And, you know, I'll give you, I think I may have told you this before, but it was, my son was at Michigan State at the time. And he called me that night and he's in a fraternity and he had something to do during the game. And he had gotten back to the house and he had called me and said, a couple of guys were like, did you hear your dad's call? Did you hear your dad's call? And Tony was like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about, because he hadn't heard it and he had to do something else. And it was just a cool father-son moment that for that moment he could be proud of his dad, and his friends were coming to him and saying that. But I would say above all, bar none, was the first down against the Rams, because it just locked up that playoff berth and everything. And it was such a perfect example of who that team had become. It was Campbell saying throw it. It was Ben Johnson making the call. It was the offensive line provided the protection. It was Jared throwing it, and it was Amon-Ra catching it. And that it was Jared against his former team. It was the first playoff win in forever. It allowed that stadium to erupt. And I've never been, I don't think, in a stadium like I was that night, from 2 hours before the game all the way through it. And just, you know, I still hear from people today about that moment and that game and what it meant to them. And, you know, not just what it meant to them, but, you know, I've heard so many people over the time tell me, like, what it meant to them in terms of people that weren't even there with them, you know, like their dads or their grandfathers that they had shared the Lions with over the years. And they wanted to be with them in that moment, but they couldn't be, but they remembered them right there. And obviously, look, guys, the big prize is still out there that they haven't gotten yet, but that was a really meaningful moment for that franchise in this city. And I don't think anything that I've seen to this point, and there will be something down the line, I hope, but anything I've seen to this point could top that. It was pretty amazing. It really was.
Yeah. I think that's a night that I think we all are going to cherish for just, you know, our small part in what happened that night is still something.
Yeah. And I just, and I've said it before, and I've done this for 44 years in one way or another. And I've never been happier for an athlete than I was for Jared that night. And I know he'll never say it, but that's life-changing, man. That lets you sleep at night. If they trade you and go win a Super Bowl and you're struggling, then they beat you in the playoffs and you got to live.
Right.
That to me allowed Jared to just exercise all the ghosts and just say, you know what, knocked you out, and just feel good about that and have that moment. Yeah. And I was just so happy for him, because it felt to me like, you know, at that point you could just let go. Yeah. You know, you could just say bygones, and I just thought that was a really cool moment for every guy on that team, but for everything that he had been through and all the storylines tied to that for him in particular.
And you know, we got the Rams match coming up here next week, and it feels like that is the smallest of footnotes in this game. Like, I'm sure Jared is going to get asked about it, because that's what's going to happen regardless. But like, it's obviously just a big NFC matchup between two really good teams, and yeah, there's going to be a little bit of Stafford and Goff talk, because it's just the two quarterbacks. That's how it's going to work. But it does finally feel like maybe this is the first time where we can just be like, oh yeah, that's true, but who cares?
Yeah, and I'm with you. And I was actually thinking about that, you know, last couple of days, just kind of like it kind of is gone now. It never will be completely gone, because of the ties that bind the two franchises and the two quarterbacks. But it's not like it was, that's for sure. And the thing is, I don't think anybody dislikes Stafford. There's no, I don't think people that are like, it was time to go. It was time for him to go and time for the Lions to move on. And I think everybody understands that. After that, you know, it wasn't easy. You're losing. He's winning a Super Bowl. And as much as you might have been happy for him, it still kind of sucked in some respects because, you know, there's that guy that you wish could have done that in the Lions uniform. But, you know, I think now it's everybody's moved on. And I think there's such a complete understanding of how that thing had run its course that it's not like some guys who force a trade from a franchise and you're just angry at them. That's not the way this was. So I think that kind of helps everybody move on a little bit.
No doubt. You got one, Eric, before we wrap things up here?
I was just going to say, topic adjacent here, but there's been some pretty cool things, pretty cool stories and moments that have happened in the radio booth this year. A nice story written about Mike Brada the other day that he's finally getting that recognition. You're seeing Lomas advance toward in the Hall of Fame. Like, can you talk about like how the emotions that you go through when you see the people in the booth around you getting those recognitions?
We got the most amazing family in that booth. I mean, it's I am so lucky that I get to go to work with people that I want to be with every single week. And it's, you know, I'm lucky I get to do it pregame shows with Wojo and Birchie and Hammer and Woody and all the people that I work with. And it's really not work. It's a way to hang out with people that you love and want to be with anyway. And then, you know, to be able to get up there and you mentioned Mike Brada, who's our statistician, and Joe Abramson, who's our spotter, and Tim Jeske, our engineer, and Lomas and TJ. And, you know, we have such great times, you know, Saturday night dinners and then being able to work together. I mean, it's inside baseball here, but it's like the other night, it was like, for some reason, TJ decided this was the night he was going to talk a lot. And he kept talking like right up to the point they're snapping the ball. And I turned to him at one point and I'm like, dude, you need to shut up. I said, I got to set up the play. And there was one point, and I honestly think it was a touchdown. I don't remember which one. But he's going on and on and on, and they're up to the line and getting ready to snap it. And I'm like, dude, I'm like literally doing my hand like this. And then when he stopped, I started laughing. It's on the tape. You could hear it. And he said, you're laughing at me? I said, yeah. And then I have to say, like, touchdown Detroit Lions. But it's you know what? They're the best. They're great at what they do. They're like my brothers. And I just, you know, have so much fun with those guys and kicking it around. And I learn so much from them because they have a lifetime of knowledge that I can feed off of. And look, I'm so happy for Lomas that he's made it this far. And I know what this means to him. It's just it's such a difficult thing, man. It's so hard to quantify offensive linemen and how you gauge them for something like the Hall of Fame. But you know, you talk to anybody that played and they'll tell you how great Lomas was and how much they disliked having to go up against him. And that to me carries so much weight. So, and the Brada thing was really cool, you know, on the Today Show and seeing him get some recognition. If there's anything that I would say that these videos that they put out of our booth has been really good for, it's that it lets people know that this is a massive team effort. It's not just me. It's Mike feeding me numbers and Joe pointing out, all right, who made the tackle, who made the catch, who did this, who did that. He's always filling in the blanks for me, and you know, and TJ and Lomas doing what they do. So, man, it's just I absolutely love it. It is 100% a team. And just so cool to be able to do that with them every week. So for all the stories that are going on around these guys, the best thing is just the friendship and the fun that we have together.
Yeah, and you can see it come through in the work you guys do. It's why I think the broadcast team is so beloved, is because you sense the fun that's in that booth. You sense the ease of which everything that comes out of all of your mouths has come because you're having so much fun out there. Plus, having a spotter when they wear those black uniforms, I wish I had one of those.
Dude,
I can't tell
my
anything.
God. Joe and I were looking before the game. We're like, this is going to be really hard. This is going to be really hard. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely sometimes where you absolutely need it. And it's like, he's a lifesaver in there. So, yeah, you just said it. There's no stress.
Yeah.
It's like you go in there and it's fun and you look forward to it. And let's not kid ourselves. It's more fun when they're winning. It's more fun when you've got a team like this and guys in that locker room that are such good guys and a coaching staff that are such good guys, and it's easy to root for. And it's fun being able to cover a team like that and bring a team like that to the people. And these fans are unbelievable. And I know I've said it to you guys before, the best part of this is seeing the fans get some payoff and be happy, because I've seen in the other side, and it's not fun. And they deserve this. They've dealt with a lot and taken a lot of gut punches over the years, so they deserve, this time to enjoy it.
Last thing, I know we've kept you a little long, so I don't want to keep you too much longer, but just quick one. Playoffs, yes or no?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to go against this team going 3-1 the rest of the way. And I think that's what they have to do. I think you have to find a way to get it done. And they've given me no reason to think that they can't do that. I don't think it's going to be easy. You're going to have to grind it out. Like I said, Rodgers coming, Stafford, Rodgers, going to Minnesota, and then closing in Chicago when it's going to be freezing. And that game might mean everything. We'll see what happens. But I'm look, it's probably there's some homer in me here, but I'm not going to bet against these guys. And I love what I saw the other day. Give me that going forward. Give me that kind of execution, and maybe a few less penalties even, and I feel good about it. But yes. What was crazy, they put themselves behind the downsticks a number of times in that game and found a way to recover and keep the drives going, which was impressive. So. Man, let's go. Let's load it up and see what they can do. And I love, the fight that we saw the other day. And that tells me absolutely there's every chance in the world these guys can close this thing out strong.
I'm in. You've convinced me. What's happening? Dan.
Let's do it. What else we got to do?
Exactly, right? I have my schedule open in January for a reason. Let's do it. Before we let you go, Dan, or we are going to let you go, Dan. No more questions. I just want to give my appreciation again for you making some time out of your busy schedule, especially when there's actually finally a little bit of a break in our schedule, at least the beat writer's schedule. I know you probably are still working your butt off on the million other things you do for this city. So appreciate you making some time tonight. And if you do give that donation, feel free to text me what you want me to do an impression of.
Help me here. Where do we go? Man,
I've had to
do a Wojo impression. Do we have a Wojo?
I feel like you Fox 2 guys
just
are a
walk
bit
around your apartment slamming cabinets.
Guzzle gin, something like that.
Right. I've done a Donald Duck, a Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. We were doing Batman earlier.
I'm too old to even know what that is.
Yeah, that's
Disney cartoon. We did Batman voices. Where we had to talk like real deep voices. Those have been a handful of those.
You hold him to it. Come up with something. Make him do something. Make him. Well, you guys will come up with something here, but the donation's coming because I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's great stuff. And again, I've told you guys this before. You guys doing what you do, you keep these fans engaged, and it's so awesome the way that these fans have an outlet every single day to see what's going on, to voice their opinion, to be able to follow you guys, and you guys give them all the information on stuff going on in Allen Park and everything else. So you guys are so important to what happens. You guys feed into what we're able to tap into on Sundays, and I greatly appreciate what you guys do. I see how hard you work, and believe me, for those people out there, they do work really hard out there. They're out there every single day grinding. So I appreciate what you guys do. So keep it going.
Thanks, Dan. That means a lot coming from you.
Thanks,
so
Dan.
Really do appreciate it. Dan, have a great rest of your night. We'll send you a
Appreciate
clip
you guys.
of whatever we end up doing
You
an impression
got
of. And
I look forward to it.
See you soon.
TDDL across that forehead, bro.
I got you. That's coming for sure.
All right, guys. See you later.
See you, buddy.
Bye, Dan.
I'll just preemptively do it because I know he's good for it. I don't even know if he knows that like our alert is touchdown Detroit Lions. Hopefully, I'm sure that's also breaking some sort of like copyright law. But hey, it's all in good. It's out of respect, right? I guess it should be a comment.
Katie says you should sing Rainbow Connection as Patrick Mahomes.
So I just sing the Rainbow Connection. I feel like whatever I do should maybe be like, maybe I should sing Gridiron Heroes as something. But it sounds like Dan has left it up to you guys. So like maybe we get like our 3 or 4 best suggestions and then we put it up for a poll. All right, there's also a bunch of alerts that happened during that. So let me get to those. Go ahead.
Katie actually said Kermit. I misread that.
Isn't that what you said?
She said Rainbow Connection as Kermit is what she said.
What did you say?
My bad.
That's what I thought you said because that's what I heard. Is that not what you said?
No.
What did you say?
I said Patrick Mahomes.
Oh. Zazu's
it's the same.
Probably got to let Zazu out here in a minute too.
Do the get comfortable being uncomfortable.
No, that's what I did in
I
the.
know. We'll do it again in a different voice, not Patrick Mahomes this time.
I don't know. I feel like all of these are like they're in the same family where I'm like tightening up the back of my throat. I need something different that isn't just like. It's too close to Lilo. Or Stitch
not
or whatever.
Kermit. Not Kermit.
I think it is. Like Kermit the Frog here. Like
no, not get Kermit out of your head.
Oh, so not Kermit. But that's what Patrick Mahomes sounds like too.
No.
There it is.
I know, but we need to come up with a different version of something.
Dan, thank you for the $250 donation. Thank you for being true to your word. Not that there was ever a question of that. Says, well done, boys. Great cause. You will change lives for people tonight. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Because, of course, all of this doesn't happen without the people actually donating. So thank you to Dan. Thank you to everybody who's donated. Let me get through some of the alerts that happened while he was live. Stephen Kraft, thank you for the $25 donation. Says, to cover that profanity on your forehead with FTV, FTP, and FT. Okay, so I'm going to cover number one Vikings fan with FTV, FTP, and FTB. Don't let me forget that. I'll do that in a second. An anonymous $100 donation. Justin saying a $5 donation. Jay just tipped us $5. I don't know if that was meant to be for the Rogel Cancer Center for us, but appreciate it either way. Another anonymous $50 donation. McVeigh Rob $50 donation says, y'all do good work, do such good work, and are such a good community. I feel like Pride of Detroit and the podcast are just hitting another gear. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're always trying to grow as much as we feel like we've accomplished. It's always important to try to stay innovative, to try to stay new and challenge ourselves. Mr. Clean, thank you for subscribing on Twitch. Defend the Den, $25 donation, says, love what you guys do. Sorry I missed so much of the Movember drive. Boo Cancer, go Lions. Hey, no problem, Defend the Den. We're still going to be here for another 3.5 hours. So, and again, like if you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch and you missed anything, all the interviews we've done about 12, 13 of them. On YouTube, you can just scroll back and watch them all. I know this is part 2 of the YouTube stream. There's a part 1 that you could go back and watch in case you missed anything of that. J Pook, 36 months subscribed, says, egads, how many babies have we had together now? I believe that's 4, if the math is mathing. And then the Dan Miller donation for $250. Within that time frame, we did cross over another 1,000, which means another spin on the Wheel of Pain, which means we're only 1,600 and change away from video games with Graham Glasgow on stream sometime down the line. After that, it's the Dan Campbell Coffee Challenge for Ryan. After that, it's the 5K for 40K. Then I think it's karaoke after that. No, I think it's, I don't know, karaoke. Somewhere in there is dressing up as, what's her name? Marilyn Monroe. And then if someone goes crazy here towards the end of the stream, maybe we shave the head. And I was thinking, like, I could probably do like the initial shave right here on stream if we somehow got there. I got some clippers, but we're far away from that. We don't need to do that. All right. I see some more a Tim Robinson impression. Ooh, I'm trying to think if I could pull that off.
We're only here for the zip line.
I don't know if I could do it. Like, I think it'd be bad. Racy McMath. No one knows who Racy McMath sounds like. Matthew McConaughey. A Romo impression. Here's the thing. Like, I'm going to be bad at whatever impression I do. So don't get your hopes up, I think is. And I'm also like, I know I was the one that pitched the idea of Gridiron Heroes, but I feel like singing in an impression is even harder to do. But maybe that's like the fun of it. It's just going to be so bad. The kneecap speech, I could like the kneecap speech is not a bad idea for something I could do as well. What you got over here is that was my John Madden impression right there, which kind of that felt like a little bit more Chris Collinsworthy. What did you say, Alien? Kermit does. Do you want me to do Kermit though? Like I feel like I'm too close to the other impressions. I'll do it.
I want you to do the drag the teams out into the deep dark abyss in Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is not bad. Mickey Mouse is pretty good. It's different enough where I feel like maybe Mickey Mouse is the place to go. Jim Rome. What does Jim Rome sound like? I mean, I know who Jim Rome is, but John Bill would just get all the words wrong.
You know how hard it would be to purposefully try and read a speech and purposefully mispronounce every word. It would be so hard to do. Like so hard.
Invader Scooge, one of our winners today in one of our drawings, $100 donation to the University of Michigan Rogel Cancer Center. Appreciate that, Invaders. What do we think? What do you think about Mickey Mouse doing the kneecap speech? Yay or nay on that? Bob Belcher. Trump impression. I feel like that's just going to be unnecessarily divisive. Elmo?
Oh.
Nay? Okay. Sounds like more no's than yays. Gilbert Gottfried's an interesting one.
I bet you could do a good Gilbert.
What are you talking? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, sorry, buddy. I mean, I can try.
Oh God.
Sam Kinison.
Get
to the chopper. That's my Arnold. That's all. What, like, Matt Patricia doesn't even have like a distinctive voice. I almost feel like it's a little soft. Like, nah. Mickey Mouse doing the Breaking Bad. I'm the danger. I am the one who knocks off. You guys are just getting a taste of all of them. That's what's happening. Ooh, could I do Bobcat? I don't know.
I think Bobcat Gold. I think Bobcat. That's a hard one.
I don't know if I can do
Kinison doing the Deep Dark Abyss one would be
not enough people know who Sam Kinison is, and like I'm just screaming at that point.
That's terrible.
Read Nick the Greek messages as Elmo. All right. Let's do two different polls. We're going to do a poll of who I should do and then what I should read. And I feel like Mickey Mouse, I think my Christopher Walken is going to be terrible, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I feel like that's the three that I feel like are good enough where everyone knows who it is. Yeah, let's start with that. Who should impression
Who doesn't
be?
know who Sam If you don't know who Sam Kinison is,
Most people.
please
I feel like I'm the oldest person that is going
go
to know
look.
who Sam Kinison is.
I know, but he transcends.
Sean Connery.
Don't do regular Sean Connery. Do Celebrity Jeopardy Sean Connery.
Right.
that version of Sean Connery. Suck it, Trebek.
What did I say the three were? Mickey Mouse, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and who's the third one? I've already forgotten. Oh, Walken? Walken. All right, I'll throw Sean Connery in there too. Is it SEAN? I think it is. All right, you guys have 1 minute on Twitch to vote on who I should do the impression of. Sorry, it's a Twitch poll. So sorry to our YouTubers. I swear I'm not ignoring you. It's just the easiest way for me to do it. Tony Reedy, $44 donation, says, Lions fans in Minnesota, you guys have been my number one source for Lions content for more years than I can recall. Thank you for the great work every season, off season, and putting on this awesome fundraiser. Hey, Tony, appreciate the support. The $100 or the $44, of course, in support of the 44 points scored on Thursday night. Yeah, appreciate the support, both, with the Movember drive-in, of course, your patronage, listening, supporting, reading, all that we do. We can't do it without the support of you guys. So very much appreciate it. Oh God, looks like it's going to be Christopher Walken. I feel like can I listen to him? Because I'm going to tell you right now, out of these four, my Christopher Walken is going to be the worst. Oh, now it's...
No one ever does a good Walken.
All right, we have to have a runoff vote. Dang it. Can I do a 30-second? No. All right. Walken or Schwarzenegger? Schwartz. I'm just going to say Schwartz. Schwartz.
Can I tell you something? They're both going to sound the same.
No, they
They're
aren't.
going to sound the same.
No, they're going to be different enough. All right. The runoff poll is up on Twitch. If you guys tie again, then I'm not doing any impressions, and we're ending the stream. So make sure it better not be a tie.
We're not. I'm ending the stream.
I'm ending the stream. I'm going to keep all the prizes for myself. I should also mention too, while this is technically, the end of the stream will be the end of Movember, in terms of you being able to donate, the auction is still going on. I feel like I haven't talked enough about the auction, ! Auction. If you want to be a part of it, there are still two things available on our auction. An official signed football by Jared Goff is right there, provided to us from the Detroit Lions, and then a Calvin Johnson bobblehead, also available to bid on. I didn't even see. Oh God, I forgot to check in. Who won? Shoot, who won?
FAO Schwartz beat Christopher Walker.
Arnold Schwartz. Okay. All right. So now we have to decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to read. So what are the ideas? So there's the Dan Campbell.
Deep Dark Abyss. That's the best one, man.
Kneecaps. Deep Dark Abyss. But is that transcribed somewhere?
Yeah, I transcribed it.
Did you?
I gotta find it though. Yeah, I wrote an article about it.
Just those two? What's Matt Patricia? What would I even be saying for Matt Patricia? All right, we'll just do it those two. The kneecap speech or the Deep Dark Abyss as Arnold Schwarzenegger. You have 1 minute to vote. And don't worry, I will let Zazu out in a little bit here. Sports Turf Pro, thank you for 32 months, says I'm getting old.
did I write? Was it about leadership?
There's something from Defector that might have it.
No, I'll find it.
It's so long. Deep Dark Abyss is running away with it. So that's the one we're going to do here. What if you did it to Dan Miller's closing words when the Lions beat the Rams in the playoffs? Bro, I don't know who you guys are or what this is, but I've been listening to this because my mom is watching this, and like, just go for it. Do the impression already with the people who riot. We will. We want to give the people what they want. Katie's daughter. Yeah, daughter. I'm sorry. What? Wait, why does it say Pride of Detroit +1 in that big message? Do you have anything that has the whole line in it? I'm not getting all the way to the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, that is just too long. Jeez, this is so long. You guys are going to get sick of my impression. Can't be You said you wrote this down somewhere.
I did. I just can't remember what article it was.
God dang it. All right, I'm gonna search in quotes part of it, and maybe search Pride of Detroit. I don't think you wrote this. I think you're lying.
All right.
All right. Oh no. I had it on MLive and then the paywall popped up.
Oh, it's about grit. That's what it was about, not about leadership.
Ty? Done? Do you have it? That's only part of it. I don't think you transcribed this. I don't know if the full transcription is anywhere. Top 10 quotes? I probably wrote this article.
Yeah, but that's bullshit.
I sure did. That's not enough of it, though.
All right,
Chad, I don't know what to do now. We're stuck. And Dave is potentially coming up. I can't remember if did I mention it to Dave? I texted him, didn't I? I don't even remember now. No, I emailed him last night. How about experiments? Is that enough of it? You got to stay in the water to compete. There's a number of teams that are in the shallows. They come in a hurry and they're all over your ass. They're dangerous, man. You got to get a hold of them, though. If you just get a hold of them, you can start dragging their ass to the deep, dark abyss, and you can drown them. Is that enough? Are we okay with that? I think we got to go for it. There's definitely more, but I feel like I don't want to drag this out anymore as well. Eric's still looking for the article he never wrote. I gotta warm up my Arnold muscle. Here we go. You got to get into the water to compete. There's a number of teams that are in the shallows. They come in a hurry and they're all over your ass. I'm losing it. Those dangerous, man. You gotta get a hold of them, though. If you can just get a hold of them, you can start dragging their ass into the deep dark abyss, and then you drown them. Who's your guardian? What does he do? It's not the, what do you mean it's the same impression every time? That doesn't sound like my Stitch. Get out of here. Awful, but I respect it. No, I'm not going to redo it. Absolutely not. Clip it and send it to Dan Miller. Do my bidding, chat. Daffy Duck, get out of here. Yeah, tough reaction from Eric. Let's see him do it. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, see, that wasn't in the ESPN article. All right, what do we got to catch up on? Shut up! Don't be ungrateful, chat. Giveaway? Giveaway or spin on the wheel of pain? Which one do you want, chat? We got so much to still give away. We still have like 5. Longstream Jeremy is mean. Guys, we are just about to finish hour 13. And all I've done is what you've asked. Giveaway. All right, we'll do a giveaway. How about a bobblehead? How about the Amon-Ra iconic bobble legs?
Oh, man.
Big prize. In fact, one of the things that I honestly really want to keep, but I'm not going to. Again, like no disrespect to YouTube, but I want to do this on Twitch just for ease of getting into contact. But it's just in terms of ease of getting into contact. I think we've done 3 drawings on YouTube, and I've only been able to get in contact with one of them. Oh, we're dropping frames! No! Can you hear me, Eric? Are we back?
Yeah. Yeah, you should be back.
Phenoms, I haven't written it yet. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, there will be a routing guide. Are we okay? Twitch chat, YouTube chat, are we okay? Are we okay? Chat. I feel like there's a growing delay between me and chat because of all of the hiccups. No frames lost? Okay, so you just heard me scream for no reason?
My second favorite quote of Dan's is, I think our focus still has got to be that we're not the hunted. We're still on the hunt. I said this back in training camp, but if you're hunting us, you don't have to look too far. We're going to be on your front porch when you open the door.
That's a great one.
That's a great quote.
So good. Honestly, what Dan said, what Dan Miller said, what Dan Campbell said to him before that game, I've already forgotten what it was, but I'm like, oh, yeah, that's some good Dan Campbell stuff.
I wrote, this wasn't the one that I wrote, but I also wrote in here it's our core foundation, men, grit. What does it mean in a nutshell? I think it means we're going to go a little bit longer, push a little bit harder. We're going to think a little bit deeper, a little bit sharper. That's from that same era.
Yeah.
But I'm not finding the one that I wanted.
Okay. Real quick, if you want to enter on Twitch for the Amon-Ra St. Brown bobblehead, type bobble legs in chat. Bobble legs, BOBBLELEGES.
Wow.
One word, bobble legs in chat. I'm going to go let my dog out real quick because he's continuing to whine in my face.
That's
what?
a hard ask. Bobble legs. One little mistake.
Well, just make sure you spell it right. Chat.
For someone to mess up.
One word.
Yeah.
Don't put a space in there. No spaces.
Yeah. See, like I just saw one. Saw another one. Double check it, guys. Saw 3. All right, Justin, I don't think emotes of Zazu are going to make it. Bottle arms. Good job, RGA. Good. I'm glad you guys are having fun with this now. RGA, I hope you got it. Hope you got it in with all your goofiness. Bobble BB Rexa. I think that's a frog bark. I think that's a song, isn't it? Appreciate it, man. The draft stuff will be here soon. Soon enough. I've been trying to scale it back and focus on the team a little bit more this year. Oh. I am feeling, thank you, Karen. I am feeling better today. A little bit. We're on hour 14? Is that right? No. 13. So I'm starting to wear down a little bit. Biggest re-signing after Gibbs. It's probably going to be Jack Campbell. I do think Branch and Laporta might get a delay in their return, in their signings. You're going to want to get those injuries checked. You're going to want to make sure that there's no long-term injury, long-term problems that are going to creep up or anything. So I think they're going to prioritize Gibbs, and then they're going to go right after Jack. Then, I mean, you're going to have to rework some contracts, but it's got to be those two guys, right? You're going to be able to use the fifth-year option as a arm of to get them signed. You're going to use that as a leverage in order to get them lower their cap early, extend things out a little bit. It's in you're gonna when it's all said and done, it's gonna look really heavy, or it's gonna look really like high numbers, average like overall. But when you factor in that there's still a year left on their rookie deal, there's still going to be that fifth-year leg on both those guys. It's going to end up making the whole contract look pretty palatable. Similarly to what I think what they ended up doing, with Aiden. Like Aiden's numbers are huge, of course, but it doesn't look like backbreaking because you're including some of his rookie contract numbers in order to help it. I think it's going to be really hard for Anzalone to come back. Junk Trunk. It's
all right. Sorry about that. Took a little longer.
A handful of veterans that are going to be easy re-signs, and a handful of veterans that are going to be harder.
Holy crap!
Guys like Amik and Anzalone are going to be harder re-signs. I think getting guys like Rock and Avante re-signed could be a little easier though.
Okay. I seen that we're dropping more frames again, which is concerning.
I don't know where it's going to be.
I see we're also very delayed, but I wanna run this giveaway in case. I think Dave's gonna be here at 9, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like maybe I should have sent an extra reminder, but either way, let's run the winner here for the Amon-Ra St. Brown bobble legs. The 82 of you, our highest amount of people entering, and our winner is Sixpenny Swag. Sixpenny Swag, are you in the chat? Oh, sorry, Drew Falcon, right? I rigged it.
Because they just...
What? Let me, before I forget, put your name in here. Sixpenny.
There you go.
Swag, there you are. If you can whisper me, I got your name down, so you're locked in. Just connect with me so that I can get your address and where to send it, and all that jazz. Whew. Plenty of prizes left, so if you're frustrated, the one thing I haven't shown off is the kitchen knife that someone customly made for this giveaway. And I have to be careful with it because it is very sharp. It even came with like a whole message because like if you ever need it repaired or fixed, there's like Andrew V. I won't give his full details, but like there's a whole message that he wants to send to the winner. Something like, don't ever push this in the dishwasher, blah, blah, blah. Like ways to take care of it and all that sort of stuff. I'll show you really quick and really try not to hurt myself. But it's awesome. Like, it's so cool that we have, like, such talented fans. But, like, this is, like, a nice heavy-duty knife. He even has, like, his signature on it and stuff. Like, it's a heavy-duty, like, really good kitchen knife. That's decked out in Honolulu blue with a nice little handle.
Yeah.
So that'll be up for grabs here.
Jeremy's DNA comes no charge.
Yeah. Like, if I mishandle this in a second, yeah, you can frame me for murder. I mean, listen, my handprints are on it too. So if you want to frame me for murder,
you got all kinds of great ideas today.
Yeah. That's a good question. Andrew, if you're in the chat, and I quite honestly don't know if you are, what your username is there like a way where people can contact you to... Sasu, your face is just yellow as hell. We need to clean that egg off at some point. Can you get out of here? Off. Dave is here. So let me put this away before I hurt myself. Okay. But we'll give that away a little bit later. I'm afraid I'm going to, like, cut some cords. All right. No, you can't send us guns. What are you talking about, chat? Stop it.
Jeez. I don't think that's allowed.
All right, let's bring Dave on. Our final guest. Chat, stop doing illegal things. Dave, what's up, man?
What's up, Jeremy? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Eric,
good.
how's everything?
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! How about that?
What do you got on your forehead there?
Amon-Ra headstand background.
Hold on, there's crazy things. Vikings #1 fan, which is just like an inside joke because I'm always like afraid of the Vikings. I always think they're a really good team and people think I'm a fan of them. And then this one is courtesy of Dan Miller. He wanted me to write essentially touchdown Detroit Lions on my head. So
Love it.
Good on him.
Dan's call. Awesome.
Yeah.
Mine's just a purposeful misspelling of the word there.
There. Awesome.
Well, first of all, just thanks for making some time. I know this weekend has been like one that beat writers have been looking forward to for a couple weeks now, just with nothing else happening. And so to take some time of your like actual free weekend, I very much do appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
but,
for sure.
But yeah, let's talk a little Lions football and start with Thursday night because it felt like I don't know. It was certainly much needed in the fan base where, people were jumping ship and already starting to throw around fire this guy, fire that guy talk, which I think we can all admit was very premature and all that sort of stuff. But
right.
It was a season saving win. I think we can all agree. Like it kept realistic playoff hopes alive. And so I guess my question to you is how much did that performance outside of just winning the football game convince you that this is still a team that's a true contender in the NFC?
Yeah, I mean, look, somebody from the Lions reminded me a week or so ago. They said, we're about where you picked us to be, when they were 7-5 at this point of the season. So, and that sort of brought me, a little bit of clarity in that, like, I thought this is about what the Lions would be, and I picked them to win the division and go to the Super Bowl. Maybe I just didn't expect the Bears to be, have 9 wins at this point, and I figured it'd be the Lions and Packers, and this would probably be enough to get them in the playoffs. Maybe I didn't think the NFC West teams were all that, but to your point, had they lost that game, right, you lose to the Cowboys, and there's another team in front of you in the playoff race, the wild card race, and then things seem pretty dire. So I don't think the Lions have necessarily underperformed. What I thought, I figured there'd be some choppiness and the issues that we all expected, offensive line, defensive line coordinators. That's really what's caught up with them, but definitely a huge win on Thursday. Definitely a little bit of sigh of relief, I think, for a lot of Lions fans out there.
No doubt. What about like the actual performance itself, feels maybe sustainable because obviously the pass rush was a huge topic of conversation going into that game, and they go out there and answer the bell mostly. 5 sacks, obviously huge. You get a couple turnovers there as well. Still gave up probably too many explosive plays on defense, but then offensively speaking, you're going up against this Cowboys defense that looked like they turned a corner, a bunch of interior defenders that seemed like they were going to give the Lions trouble and did probably in the first quarter of that game, but they respond pretty well. How much do you feel like the Lions have maybe figured some of their biggest problems out, or are we still kind of on like, well, okay, maybe we're overrating the Cowboys a little bit?
Yeah, I'm maybe a little more towards that second category, and I don't want to take anything away. And just to be frank, I haven't rewatched the game yet. I was writing all day yesterday. I got a story Sunday on Taylor Decker, and then my son had basketball today, so I haven't rewatched the game yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But that first 2 drives, at least they struggled with some of that pressure blocking that, and then they did a pretty good job after that. Obviously, Dallas has a little bit of a different rush plan than some of these other teams, right? They're gonna see some pretty good edge rushers, I think, this week against at least one and verse, this week against the Rams, and the Cowboys don't really have that. And, when Dan, I was thinking about this a little bit when Dan had said he was talking about how he wanted to take the time at the end of that Green Bay game. And he wasn't in a rush because he didn't want to let Micah Parsons loose. I wonder if that's going to be the same case next week against the Rams, where they have to maybe be a little more protective of some of those guys. And not that Decker or Sewell has been an issue. The interior line has been an issue, but it all works together. So, I still look, I don't know that the Rams are a great matchup, especially with the safety problems they have right now, the problems in the secondary, and as good as, Matthew Stafford's playing. I do think, though, when you look ahead to the rest of the schedule, Steelers, the Vikings, the Bears again in week 18, like, those are all very winnable games. And if the Lions get to 11, I think that's enough to probably get in the playoffs, whatever their issues still may be.
Do you think that happens? Do you think that they get to 11?
I do. I mean, look,
Yeah.
To me, that Bears game, I've thought this the last couple of weeks, and I think we've probably talked about it, a little bit in the press room, is like that Bears game could be one of those teams gets in and one of them goes home, or, maybe it's that scenario from when the Lions in 2022 against the Packers, like maybe the Bears win and they could knock the Lions out of the playoffs like the Lions did to the Packers a few years ago. So, but I'm Pittsburgh, that's not a team that would scare me as a Lions fan. The Vikings, Christmas, who knows, but revenge game. It's still JJ McCarthy, who's not playing real well. He had his best game against the Lions, but I would expect the Lions get revenge there. So, even if they lose this game to the Rams, they win the next two. I think they're in pretty good shape to make the playoffs.
I think that's reasonable. It's interesting, Eric. I think every single person that we've asked so far has said that they think they're going to make the playoffs, which is interesting just because, you look at just the odds. It's literally like 50-50 when you look at most playoff models right now. And not saying that maybe we're too close to the team and we're all just feeling a little bit optimistic, but I mean, it might be some of that. It might be that we know the team a little bit better, and we know that for as much as they put themselves behind the hole with the loss, being swept by Green Bay, there's still been more good than bad with this team really throughout the season. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that.
I think, what I go back to a lot, not to cut you off, Eric, sorry, just that the Lions roster is still one of the best in the NFL. And granted, it's been thinned a little bit here. No Sam Laporta, and, maybe Mahogany's back by then, who knows? And obviously no Brian Branch for the foreseeable future. Terrion. So maybe it's not exactly the roster that we were stacking these teams up at the beginning of the season, but the 49ers don't have the same roster either. Some of these other NFC playoff contenders have suffered their own losses. So I still think the Lions are in pretty good shape that way. Now, look, that, week 18, if that's the last game of the season again, if that's a night game, the weather, who knows how all this stuff plays into it. That, honestly, that's the game to me that's going to decide a lot. That 49ers, they might have a say in some of this too, because I think they play the Bears right in a couple weeks, and
correct.
so there's still some pretty impactful games on every team's schedule that will really act as separation for some of these teams.
I was just going to comment that most everyone we've talked to has said that they think the Lions they're going to make the playoffs, but not only that, but they've also said it's probably going to be a winner take all type of game against Chicago in the end. And it's almost like been a universal theme amongst everybody. And when we have all these different opinions, like more often than not in the amongst the beat, it's different opinions on this and different opinions on that. But there are often times when everyone just aligns on like the same thing. Like Zadarius Smith is probably going to get traded for, you know what I mean? Like things like that.
Right.
And when everyone's so aligned, it just seems like that it just, I don't know if it's just because of that's just the most logical, or if we, like you just said, Dave, like we've all kind of been around this team for a lot of years and we've seen what this team has been able to do. But I wanted to go back to the question of like the flaws, like with Branch, like what's your vision on how they try to account for that? Like, what do they? Do they have to change their scheme a little bit? Is it just a personnel? Does Shep just say this is who we are and we're going to stick with what we do, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's a tough one because, he's such a key piece for them, and that's such a big loss. And just one other thought on that. I think it's maybe because people don't believe in the Bears too, right? They're still
no, certainly.
Ben's done a great job, and he's somewhere up high in my Coach of the Year rankings. But, they split with Green Bay and they got the 49ers, and, who knows. Anyways,
right.
How they account for Branch's loss. Well, I think Kirby Joseph will try to play here, in the coming weeks. Maybe this week we'll see somewhere down the stretch. It's my understanding, like, surgery is not an option for him. Obviously, he wants to, there's going to be some other treatment options that he'll pursue after the season, but, the Lions are still in the playoff hunt and he's going to try to gut through it at some point. So if he comes back, even if he's not, if he's 90% of Kirby Joseph, let's say, maybe not quite the, coverage guy, sideline to sideline ball hawk back there, but still enough of a threat that, you don't want to necessarily challenge him deep all the time as a quarterback, then that helps alleviate some of that. You could play Harper, maybe you could play Maddox. I thought Maddox, again, without rewatching the tape yet, I thought Maddox did a pretty good job, on first glance the other day. So I don't think it's dire in the secondary, but when you combine Terrion Arnold, you got to do some other things at the slot. Some of those Rocky Sin, DJ, they're pretty physical. We'll see what reps they get and how some of these things are getting called. And maybe if you got a guy like Stafford, he's really making Kirby run, and that takes a toll on the knee. Who knows? I wouldn't think they changed the scheme too much, but I do think you have to take into account, like, you don't have that same sort of weapon, Swiss Army knife, Brian Branch, that you're used to having. So maybe it's like we've seen on offense a little bit without those tight ends, like Dan Skipper's playing a little bit more.
Right.
So there's probably a fix there on defense that they can do.
For sure.
What about left guard? Do you have any thoughts? On left guard, like, because that seems to be the other big question mark right now. With Aushika not being able to go last week, then you go into a little bit of a rotation. You get Frazier's feet wet. He looks better than like what PFF's grade's going to be on him. But he looked good. He still had his flaws, but a good initial showing for the rookie.
Yeah, no, I talked to Christian Mahogany in the locker room last week, and he said he was 100% coming back to play in the regular season at some point. Initially I'd heard, sort of playoffs. He said 100% he'll be back in the regular season. And I said, what's your target? And he said, next week. I said, come on, next week for the Rams? He said, that's my target. Like, I don't know. That seems early to me.
Right.
But I think he'll be back here at some point. So again, maybe you're patching next week. I don't know what Coyote's, long-term diagnosis is there. But yeah, like, I mean, we've seen the guard rotation, and that doesn't always work, but that's absolutely a way to get a young guy like Frazier some reps without making him just a sitting duck there for 60 snaps. So when it first happened, honestly, I thought maybe they were pulling Tristan, like he hadn't played well. And then they were sort of rotating. And so I was like, okay, I get that, right? You want to see what Frazier can do. You probably don't want him out there 60 snaps and he'll get exposed. So I kind of like what they did in retrospect. And maybe Frazier did enough and gets enough playing time here this week coming up, that, if Mahogany is not ready to return in the regular season, that you can, count on Frazier for a full game.
I want to talk some big picture. I've asked a couple of the beat guys this question because I think it's an interesting decision that awaits in the off season. Is the play calling kind of conundrum here, where Dan has taken over play calling and he did it before, and then at the time, when he eventually passes the reins to Ben Johnson, I think his reasoning was like, he likes being kind of the overseer. He likes kind of being the guy who's just overseeing everything, not necessarily meddling, but has his hand a little bit in everything. Do you think that's what's going to happen again this offseason? Is he going to hand over play calling duties to someone else? Is there even really a shot that they go back to John Morton, or was that just kind of a throwaway line from Dan, just supporting his guy while he's in the business? Or like, is there an external hire waiting to happen, or an internal one to take over those play callings? Because I think it's a really interesting situation.
It is. No, it is. And in fact, it's funny because that's what some people are talking about. Like my son had basketball today, and then I had a team party for his baseball team, Christmas party. And a couple of the dads, we were sitting around talking, and that's what they were wondering too. So, and they're kind of like, oh, Dan can't, he can't handle the play calling, right? Like, it's too much. He's got to get rid of it. I don't totally fall like along those lines. Like, yeah, they especially, a week ago, they did have some issues, obviously, with the game management of things, but some of that, as much as Dan is to blame, like, that's not exactly him sending which defensive guys out there and making sure they get off the field. So, look, I think it's probably best if they have a separate play caller, but I think Dan does a pretty good job calling plays. Like, it's certainly his offense. Ben, look, to me, Ben was one of the, I put him in that Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, like that small group of really elite play callers. And I think and this is no offense to John Morton, but I think it's a lot easier to find a John Morton than it is to find a Ben Johnson. So whoever the Lions get, or if they want to go out and hire someone, like, I don't know that person is going to be Ben Johnson. I don't know that he's going to mean that to your offense. So I think it would be right to explore some of the external options. And the one thing that Dan was maybe a little bit short-sighted on, because he wanted to, make sure the offense was tailored to Jared Goff and not much changed, was the only people he interviewed were John Morton, who was with the Lions a couple of years ago, Scotty Montgomery, and Tanner Engstrand. And so if that's your pool of candidates, like, maybe you do need to expand it a little bit and see what's out there and see if you can find a Ben Johnson somewhere else. So I think, if Dan decides to look elsewhere, I think that would be beneficial for the team. And the whole John Morton thing, look, I never got the sense that this was like Anthony Lynn from 2021, right, where, Jared Goff and him didn't see eye to eye and they were butting heads. And that was just a marriage that was never going to work. I think John can still be a valuable assistant to this team, and maybe he can be, have a bigger hand in play calling going forward. I don't, it's tough to go back and make him play caller again. And if he's not play caller, he had told me in the summer that's part of the reason he wanted to come to Detroit. I don't know how long he stays in Detroit. So, I think if I was Dan, I would probably consider some external options this offseason, at least see what's out there.
Yeah. It's always better to broaden your scope anyways, just to see what's out there, right? Like you might still come back to Scotty Montgomery, or you might come back to, it turns out I think I want to call plays, but just like, expanding the Rolodex a little bit and just making those connections, even if how many times have we heard about guys that have eventually come here being like, well, I interviewed, 2 years ago and they were keeping tabs on me. Tyler Roll was one of those guys, right? Where they were just like, yeah, talk to me. And then 2 years later, they're here. Just keeping those tabs, I think makes a lot of sense. Before we let you go here, Dave, I've been asking everyone all day this question, just to kind of promote your work. But what's the thing you wrote this year that you're most proud of?
Oh, that's a good question. When I went down with Brad Holmes to the commencement speech that he gave at his alma mater, that was just a very insightful trip for me to see the reception that he got from people at the university. There was one, sure, but this one lady who she had been around the football team like as a student assistant, and now she's working in concessions or somewhere, one of some management side position there essentially. And she came down, she was so excited to see Brad, and Brad remembered her. It was just kind of one of those things where he meant a lot to the university and the university meant a ton to him. And I think, to see that and to kind of hear, a little bit more about, him and his story and kind of how everything that helped him get to Detroit, that was pretty insightful. And, I'll tell you, there's another story that I've been working on, or I've been doing, for the last year or so. I've been, sort of reading the books that Brad Holmes has been reading. I remember Brad saying early on, at some point, he was talking about how much reading some of the books that he read, how much that helped him with his job. I wouldn't call it self-help books, but he'll read something about leadership or about management, and he sort of applies that to football. And I don't know, we're on maybe the fifth book that he's been reading this year. And there was, in part of his commencement speech, he talked about one of the books that he read and how that essentially led him to become a general manager. And so it just sort of tied this whole story together that, again, I haven't, written it yet. It's something I started in January. I'll write it here at some point this off season, but just kind of piecing together these books that he's read, and to hear that commencement speech and to hear him reference a book that, he thought really helped him become a general manager in the NFL. That was really, eye-opening for me.
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing kind of more of your insight onto what you find in those books and learning more about the man behind the Lions organization right now. But Dave, I just want to thank you again for making some time here late tonight on our weekend off. Appreciate all you guys do at Freep as well, man. Everyone on the beat appreciates you. You're a legend already in the city, so just appreciate you.
I don't know, but I just hide in my little cove and get my work done and hustle off to go coach for basketball. No, for sure, man. Always happy to support you guys. And
Dave,
that's good.
I feel like I have to address this really.
Are
quick.
you enjoying not?
Your cubby, right? Your little cove that you originally went in there to we're a little too rowdy in the other room, and you have been invaded by the youth of the beat, who are now the loudest people in the room, and they've invaded your space. And how do you put up with it?
They keep me young. No. I mean, the real story, right? I mean, you probably remember this. Like that room was initially designed to be like our workroom, right? Like it's
Yeah.
those for people who don't know, right? There's this little room off to the side of like the press conference room, essentially, where you see Dan and you see everybody standing at the podium. And there's this little room off to the side, and I don't know what there is, maybe a dozen seats in there, right? It's sort of there's a doorway and there's a little table all the way around the end. And mine is right by the door. So I sort of like can see everything that happens. And some people were like tucked in the corner and they didn't want to be there. And it was, quiet. And so everybody sort of gravitated to that main room where we sit for press conferences, and they just stayed out there. So it wasn't like totally like I wanted to get away from the noise. It was just like, that's where I sat to start. And honestly, like when I'm there, like I'm head down because I gotta, I'm always like running somewhere. One of my kids has something. So I'm trying to get some work done. But yeah, now Nolan, Colton, and Ben, and like you said, the sort of youth of the beat is in there. And I mean, I'm not going to say they get rowdy, but they do keep me young because they're talking about whatever football, on PlayStation, and their food adventures and whatever it is. And so I can still have my quiet time, do my work. Maybe not quiet, but I can still do my work. You know how it is. We can work in any sort of environment. And then if I need a quick break, I can turn my head and get a good laugh at what's going on with those guys. So it's it's a unique setup, but I love it. So.
Appreciate you, Dave.
Are you enjoying not being the pool reporter this year?
Oh, hey, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, this has been a year of pool reports. I told Nolan, because he's had a bunch of them. Colton, I think, did one. I told Nolan, like, he's probably going to give it up after this year because he's had so many of those. Like, yeah, I think I did it for 2 years, and I was the pool reporter for 2 years, and I don't think I did
Keep
a
up the
single
good
pool
work.
report. So Nolan's handling them all this year. Justin was it before me, and I'm sure he did a few. So maybe I'll have to take. We'll find somebody else to do it next year. Yeah, I paid my penance, even though I never had to do one at home, at least.
Not me. I'm out. Don't even bother asking.
Right.
All right. Dave, I do appreciate the time, buddy. Thanks for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of your hopefully quiet weekend.
Absolutely. We got more basketball tomorrow. So I'm gonna watch that film in the morning, go to more basketball games. That's my life. So anyways, but I appreciate it, guys. Anytime. We'll see you out in Allen Park next week.
All right. Sounds good, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. I don't know if anyone can see us right now. We've been dropping frames like crazy for the past 10 minutes. Is there anyone that saw the last 5 to 10 minutes of that stream? And then there's also some things I need to take care of as well. Okay, we got some thanks, Dave. So some part of this, I feel like I have to restart the stream. It's been bad and it has not recovered. We also got a couple of big donations directly to me that I think were clearly supposed to be charity donations, in which I will just forward that money straight to it myself. But yeah, I feel like I'm not getting anyone live, so I think I want to shut down the stream and restart it. Does that seem like a good idea? I don't know if it's going to help.
I mean, I'm watching, and it seems like it's definitely been like there's been a couple of times when the circle's gone, and they're certainly behind us.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Trying to think what I can do here. It just hasn't rebounded, and it's just frame after frame after frame. I think. Let me just throw in the chat really quick that I'm going to. Yeah. Yeah, see, now I'm getting all of the we can hear you now. Like 2 minutes behind. They're saying it's fine though. That's so weird. How are they like 2 minutes delayed? Okay.
Maybe I'm going to restart my feed.
Because like here, I'll just show you guys. I know this is going to make everything all weird and mirror, but like I'm getting I'm just show you for a second, then we'll stop. But like I'm getting a dropped frame rate. We're just like constantly dropping more and more and more and more frames. Is it better now? Okay. If it's really better now and it's not that delayed, let's try something. Type in the word pizza in chat.
Keep that in your mouth, okay? Okay, but don't get it on your hands, baby. Very good.
Still waiting.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a few minutes.
It's 5 minutes? Is it really like 5? I have to restart stream then. Like we can't even fully, I can't run giveaways if there's a 5-minute delay. You took 9:28, so that's theoretically less than it's still, I mean, we're over a minute now and no one has typed in pizza. What if everyone just Yeah, we're at like a minute and a half now and still delayed. How? Okay. You typing in the time doesn't help. Well, no, it should. No, it doesn't, because like, okay, now I got my first first pizza. We're 2 minutes behind. So what's your yeah, okay. Okay. Okay.